Gaming is for friends.
I thought this music was so epic.
We all like talking about gaming.
The only thing that I disliked about the old game.
There are so many different conversations started by gaming.
Oh, I forgot I have you.
This could be anything.
Can we walk in that green goo? Oh, nope. That's a no.
Anything Gaming Podcast. Hi, and welcome to Anything Gaming, episode 21. Today we're going to be going over games that we're looking forward to releasing, and we've got a bit of information about GTA 6, some funny kind of stuff going on there. But first off, how are you, Woody, and what have you been up to lately?
Oh, I've been doing great. I actually just purchased myself a new car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nice. I liked my old car, but, it was getting kind of up there in mileage and kind of up there in years, too. And plus, my brother's birthday is coming up, and I actually made him a deal. I was like, if you get your license, because he was like me. He dragged his feet on getting his license. If you get your license, I will give you my car. Give him a little incentive. And it worked. He ended up getting his license, and now he's got my old 2011 Honda Fit. That's what he ended up getting. Me, myself, I upgraded to 2019 Toyota Corolla SP.
I've got a Toyota also. Also, I have a license, so if you need to get rid of that car, just ship it.
Could you? I just want to know how much it would cost to actually ship a car away to Australia, man. It costs worth more than the car itself.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? But yeah, no, I love the little Toyota things. They're good for especially city driving.
No, I don't work well with this. They tried selling me a RAV4. That wasn't happening. I was like, no big cars. I do not have children. I'm not going to a soccer game. Just give me a little economy, thing to drive around.
Something I can fit my PlayStation on the back seat. That's all I want.
Well, I gotta say this: as someone who is a gamer, I love the fact that now when I back up, it's got that reverse camera there. Just in case I gotta do some parallel parking or something.
Oh yeah, they're fantastic, and it bips at you every time you get too close, and it's a bit of annoying. Do you have the thing with where when you stop the car, it tells you how good your fuel consumption in that is?
It does, but I can't read it yet. I can't read a
Okay.
lot of things on my dashboard yet. I have absolutely. Actually, it's funny. For the record, for anyone watching, I literally just got in my house about 5 minutes ago. I had to work tonight, and I had to give a person a ride home. My first passenger in the new car, and she actually put some stuff in the trunk, and I parked. I'm like, I have absolutely no idea how to open this trunk from here. I knew how to do it with the key, but I didn't know what button to use to actually open the trunk. So I was like, shit. So I had to turn off the car, give it the click, and then there you go. And I was like, yeah, now I'll try to figure it out. I do want one day where I can actually just play with all the buttons and see what everything does. I figured out how to work the Bluetooth, which is good. Well, what I liked about it is I wasn't expecting to get a CD player in 2019. I figured that'd be gone, but it does have a CD player.
What?
Super. Yeah. 2019 car with a CD player. I was like, yes. That's my car, because I still got, I've been building it for decades, my book of CDs.
That's crazy. Well, speaking of all the buttons, I washed my car and cleaned the inside, and I must have pressed one button. You know how you press one button on the dash when you're wiping over it? Anyway, a couple of weeks later, I went out to go for a drive, and I turned off the automatic headlights. I could not work out how to turn the headlights on in the car.
That's another thing I do like about my Toyota. The Fit, it had brights, but they were brights. It was just big ass bright lights right in front of the car. Great for watching, but anyone driving past me probably hated my guts because it was right there. I get in the Toyota, turn on the lights, and it's this LED, just horizon in front of me. Just illuminate everything. I was like, whoa!
Yeah. No, but it's a good time as getting new cars, because that new smell, the new game smell. It's like when you open a game case. Do they have a new game smell?
Hey, Sue, we're not going to have new game cases and stuff. I'm still ticked off they got rid of the manuals. And I wanted to get rid of the manuals because those smell great. Now they're getting rid of the actual games. Less and less. Just absolutely no smells in the video game industry right now.
Oh, well, actually, you're wrong, because I saw that someone's made a machine that actually goes and puts out different smells when you're playing a game. So if you're playing Call of Duty, it'll put like a gunfire type smoke into the air. I'm thinking I would never play a horror game with that turned on because it would stink like shit, like terribly bad. How bad? Like a lot of the games we play with all the blood and gore would smell terrible.
Zelda would smell good with the cooking.
Yes.
You know, when you're cooking stuff, you smell that, like the nice, like, mushroom kebab. You know, like that nice little hearty grill smell. That'd be nice. I would like that.
Yeah. Or in Mario, like what's Mario Party when you're turning the steak over onto all the different sides and you smell that searing steak? Yeah, I could deal with that. But yes, not the blood and gore. I'll leave that too.
No, I don't want to know what Silent Hill smells like.
I don't want to do that. Very damp. There is a reason you can't smell in video games. I'm just going to leave that there. So,
the other sense there, just the looking and this hearing. That's all you really need.
Yeah. Anyway, we were going to get on to GTA 5, 6. We're up to 6 now, finally. It's 6. Yeah, it's finally. The last 13 years has been a long time. And someone has gone out and discovered something amazing about this cover, or how they showed the little trailer and they had the picture of the guy and the girl sitting on the front of the car there. In the background, right, there's some buildings. Now, I don't know if people have read into this way too much or they've just had way too much time on their hands, but they figure that the windows in the buildings look exactly like Braille. And if you read the Braille on the buildings, it says 17M. So people are assuming that Grand Theft Auto is coming out 17th of May or March next year.
That would be cool, but I mean, release dates for games, especially big AAA games like that, are just so volatile. I couldn't imagine them actually putting. I wouldn't be shocked if they try to do that. But I can't think of the last big game that didn't get delayed.
I know,
like a big money game that didn't get delayed because they're making it. Oh wait, internet doesn't work on it. Whoops, looks like we're at the delay for 6 months.
But I think GTA has been delayed for the last 10 years or so. So they should be about ready to release. They should have it.
How many times has Half-Life 3 got delayed? Right?
But it makes sense because Grand Theft Auto Rockstar does things a little bit differently. They never release in October. Back when GTA Vice City was out, I think that was the last game they released in October. So an early game release would make sense for their timelines of how they actually do release games. So I could see that being a possibility, say May or around this time of year. They don't tend to do the big end of season kind of thing. They try to dump it early. It makes sense to dump it in May or something. They can fix all the bugs, and then by the time they get to Christmas time, they can promote the crap out of it, and everyone's keen and excited still,
It's kind of funny because at least for the last decade, I've always considered Christmas to be kind of carved out for Call of Duty. They always release it right before the major season, so that's the gift. But and Call of Duty's still strong, by no means is it not still making money. But I don't know. I think that if a game was big enough, it could come out. I think it has, we joke about the game now, but Starfield was a launch, That was a big launch. That moved units.
When did that come out? Was that September last year?
Yeah, it was nearing fall, in between summer and fall, somewhere there. Over here, I mean.
Yeah. I know. But I can't really think of it. But a lot of those games that came out, there are a few that line up in the October run there. That's when Cyberpunk, they came out in December. Cyberpunk came out, and that was terrible. I think GTA 6 is the most hyped game since Cyberpunk came out, and we all know what happened to Cyberpunk on release. They fixed it up now, but Is GTA going to be the same as that? Going to be just an epic fail? Or do you think they're going to...
That is a harsh word. I mean, in terms of releasing a product that works day one, yeah. But at the same time, I mean, and it's kind of like, remember last week we talked about things that ticked us off of games. There's something I can't think of the last big game, like big AAA money, marketing, voice actors game that didn't have something. Even if it was just little, it could be an audio issue that just something little happened on release, and now we got to patch it. Even what's it there? Helldivers, and everyone's loving that game. I hear they're still having problems with servers.
Well, I mean, I think what was
and that's not really a AAA game either, you know.
Zelda released almost without a hitch. Nintendo is the only company that does.
Yeah.
They have like the smallest little bugs, but like there was a few crafting glitches you could do in Zelda, but nothing substantial that broke the game.
The only patch in memory that I can think of is when Skyward Sword came out for the Wii. They actually had to patch it. You had to download a patch for it because I guess there was a way to get stuck because if you saved it at a certain part, then you couldn't like progress through the game after that. So they actually had to come by and fix that. But yeah, like as far as Nintendo games though, I can't think of one. Did they patch Metroid Prime Remastered? I think they may have done that. Something was wrong with it.
There might be like tiny little things like where like something a shader doesn't load properly or like something like that, but nothing that breaks the game substantially. And I mean, most of these things that they have to patch are from YouTubers going out and trying to really break the game, not just playing it with just intent of playing it through nicely. You know what I mean? They're trying to find these glitches so they can make money in their YouTube channel, you know?
I mean, I've always enjoyed glitches. A glitch is different. Like, in fact, it's funny. I was just playing Shadow Warrior, and if you jump on this machine and then you jump towards the wall and onto a bookshelf in a certain way, you actually clip through the level, fall all the way down, and die. Now, does that suck? Sure, but it's still, I mean, it was a cool glitch. I was like, wow, that's pretty nifty.
I need to do that again.
Yeah, I mean, there's always been fun glitches, but then again, you do get that game-breaking glitch that just sucks and just like it can stop you. That actually happened to me a couple times the first time I ever played Skyrim. I was one of the unlucky people that actually the first time I experienced Skyrim was on the PlayStation 3. And anyone out there that's played Skyrim on the PS3, especially back in 2011, ooh, it was rough going. It was like there were glitches everywhere. As glitchy as you think Bethesda games can get, oh no, this was bad. And sometimes like just like I think it was an NPC that wasn't supposed to died, so I couldn't progress. They weren't really patches. I'm sure to play today. Well, actually, if today, probably the same because it's the PS3. They're probably not releasing patches for the PS3 version anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if they're not releasing patches for the PS4 version anymore. But things like that always just suck. They're few and far between with me because if a game's notoriously buggy, I don't care how good it is. But when it hits hard and hits suck.
Yeah. I think out of all these studios out there, besides Nintendo kind of ecosystem, I think Rockstar is one of the ones that I almost trust to make a game that's not super buggy. They've got such a big reputation of not making it great. And if you're a smart game developer now, and I'm talking to all the AAAs out there, what you would do is you release the game that's working really well, and then you add features to it that are free. That instead of trying to push them on launch day, you kind of add those extra features, and that's what they did with GTA 5. I remember when it first came out, the online stuff was almost non-existent, and then they kind of built that in as the game kind of progressed down its life cycle, whatever you want to call it, and that's when it kind of really came into its own and had its own huge ecosystem. I think the biggest thing with GTA 6 is going to be convincing all the GTA 5 players to come over to GTA 6. I don't know if they're shark bucks or whatever transfer over. I don't know that's going to be probably the bit that's going to hurt people if something does.
Well, I mean, there's two things to consider. First off, plenty of time to wrap things up on your GTA Online. You know what I mean? We're still at least 12. Like, let's just go ahead and say a year and a half away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if you invested so much time in everything on GTA 5 Online, that's still your thing for the next year and a half. Now, of course, they haven't said anything about any online component for the Grand Theft Auto 6 yet.
No.
There's been nothing on that end. You can only assume they're going to do something. And for the sake of argument, let's say they are going to do something, just for the sake of argument. I could still see GTA 5's online system being very robust because it's a completely different city. I mean, I'm sure if you look right now, I'm sure there's people playing Final Fantasy 11. You know? Look deeper. I wouldn't be surprised if there's an EverQuest server out there somewhere that's got a whole bunch of people in it. And I don't think Grand Theft Auto 5 will ever go to that level. I think it'll always be robust.
Yeah.
The only thing I could probably compare it to is maybe Call of Duty. Like, going back. That's just if I want to be like, I want to play Black Ops 2 online multiplayer. You know, and that's an older game.
Good luck. Good luck to you.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to play some Black Ops 2 multiplayer, hit me up in the comments. I've been looking for an excuse to try that game out.
Yeah. So let's move on to some other games that are coming that we're a bit excited about. One game that I'm a bit excited about that actually just came out yesterday, but everyone it's been getting terrible reviews, so I'm not sure if I'm as excited anymore, is Alone in the Dark.
Yeah.
It looks really good, and the concept looks like, like such a good kind of Resident Evil type of spin-off game.
See, and that's the thing. And I know with you saying that, there might be a couple mad, because at the end of the day, Alone in the Dark came out first. Alone in the Dark came out before Resident Evil. But saying Alone in the Dark came out before Resident Evil is like saying Wolfenstein came out before Doom. Sure, it did.
No one remembers.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Like, there's a difference between doing something the first time and doing something good the first time. And even for the time being, when you played Alone in the Dark back in the day, if you thought Resident Evil was clunky, not even close. Resident Evil to Alone in the Dark is like Resident Evil 2 remake to Resident Evil 2 original in terms of like functionality. There's that bit, and it's still like fixed camera and shit, but everyone just moves in such like almost like they're underwater. Everyone's at like 20 frames per second. When then you go to Resident Evil, mind you, Resident Evil 1, PlayStation 1, much quicker and smoother. They did it way better. They did. And Alone in the Dark has tried to come back. I remember, I want to say the game was called Alone in the Dark: The New Nightmare. Yeah. And we're talking, I could be dating myself here, but I'm pretty sure I played it for the Dreamcast. And to be fair, it was decent. It really wasn't a bad game. But by this time, Resident Evil 2 was out, Resident Evil 3 was out, and the Silent Hills were out. You know, like, it's just, it kind of reminds me of when Medal of Honor tried to come back. It's just like, dude, like, your time has come and gone. So when Alone in the Dark, they announced it, I was like, oh, great, I mean, they could look at what Resident Evil 2 remakes did, over the shoulder thing. Hell, if there's more of that, fine. And it can be done. You don't have to be Resident Evil to do it. Dead Space did it wonderfully. Shadows of the Damned did it wonderfully. But as you said, from what I've heard, I haven't tried it yet, Alone in the Dark. I heard it's a thumbs in the middle kind of, but not really.
I've all the reviews that I've seen are basically saying about that. It's about middle ground. It's like, if you like Resident Evil, if you like those genre of games, it's a good, solid, competent game, but it's not groundbreaking, and it's not something that's going to make you go, oh, this is way better than Resident Evil, because it just feels like a copycat of that. And that's what people are kind of, so if you look at it like that, it might be an okay game, because it's like, if it's as competent as, say, Resident Evil 7 or something like that, then it might be just, why not give it a go? It's just like another I run out of Resident Evil games to play. Let me go and play this for 5 minutes type of game.
Right? Yeah. No. I'm sure like if you can get it on a deal, if you can play it on Game Pass, I'm sure you could have fun with that. But yeah,
I think I'm going to wait till it gets to the Game Pass stage, and then or it drops down dramatically in price. I think that'll be the kind of key to it for me.
one game that hasn't come out yet, it may have come out this week or last week, but I do want to pick up at some point, is Princess Peach Showtime.
That comes out tomorrow.
I love Super Princess Peach back in the day. I don't know if anyone remembers that. I mean, in terms of a 2D Nintendo platformer, it was as easy as you were going to get, but it was really fun and had a lot of great personality to it. You know, and I was just happy that Princess Peach got like a damn good game to her name. You know what I mean? I'm kind of hoping they do Zelda someday. Like actually have a game where you play as Zelda and she kicks ass.
Oh, that would be kind of fun, wouldn't it?
What I would like to see,
Zelda going to save Link, and you call it Link's Kingdom.
This Nintendo, and I know you're watching, have it be called The Adventures of Zelda, but have it be in the title of The Adventure of Link Zelda 2 for the NES. Side-scrolling, top-down, that same mode. Fix it up so it's not as annoying, and they can do that now.
Yeah.
But now you're playing Zelda.
I think
that'd be great. And have Link fucking sleeping, and you gotta revive him. You know, like he can do that, and then Zelda goes out and beats butt.
Yeah, no, I'm into that. But back to Peach, I'm not sure how I feel about this. I think it's going to be super easy. I reckon it's aimed at 5-year-olds.
Yeah, it is. And that's the way Super Princess Peach was.
Yeah, and I think this is even more so. Like if you what was Yoshi's Paper Kingdom thing? Did you play? What was that? Paper World? Yoshi.
Well, there's Yoshi's there's Yoshi's Woolly World and Yoshi's Crafting World.
Crafting World, that's one.
Well, I mean, not to toot my own horn, but toot. Those games aren't going to stop me. But I could recognize a little challenge from them. You know, I don't think a noob would be.
I think they're going to be easier than that, and I reckon they're one of the easiest possible games that you can buy on Nintendo. They're perfect for a 5-year-old kid.
No, but I am looking forward to playing that. That's probably like the next. At the very least, that's the next new game I'm probably going to pick up is Princess Peach.
Well, your brother could probably buy it for you after you gave him a car.
Yeah. Well, the trick is I'm going to get it for my niece.
Oh,
like, okay, hey, worked with Yoshi. I played that offer. You know? And it was fine. With GTA 5, she played that. Seriously, 12-year-old girl. And she's like, I think she's near the end game to Grand Theft Auto 5, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I'll go to Peach. My kids are really like grown out of that whole Mario thing at the moment, and just
they'll come back someday. Everyone always comes back to Mario.
Oh, they play like the newer Marios, but like the ones like that are super easy. I just think they're going to be I
don't know if I would call Wonder easy. I died a couple times in Wonder.
Yeah, Wonder is super. Wonder's got some really hard challenges. Yeah, I'm not saying they play Wonder because that one's okay, but I'm saying like super easy Peach. I don't think they're going to buy into it.
Be the hardest Mario game you think you've ever played?
Are we talking modern era? Like where are we going?
Even going back.
I would say just the first one.
I would say but two things. First off, like front to back, and if you go through it and not got any warp zones, I think you can complete Mario in 25 minutes. There's tough stuff, but there's not a lot of it, which is understandable for the time. Plus, with the warp zones, honestly, I'm not going to count Yoshi's World because that's more of a Yoshi game than a Mario game. But in terms of the hardest Mario game, I think I'm going to have to go with Sunshine, which isn't necessarily super hard, but can be tricky. Some areas, especially if you're trying to get all the shines.
I find Mario 3D really hard to work out where he's going to jump.
That's part of the challenge.
It's half these platform guessing where the platform is sometimes so challenging. In it, I know he has that little shadow underneath him, but it can be such a
That actually kind
challenge.
of makes it easier in Sunshine because you have the water that shoots down, so you kind of use that to kind of like
Guide you a bit,
where you're
yeah.
going. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm probably worse at 2D games than I am at 3D games. So that's why I found some of the early ones, especially when they took before they added like that little bit of extra block to a ledge where you'd fall off instantly on the original ones. Where the newer Mario games, they've kind of made like the collider a fraction longer, so you've got like a half second to jump in midair. If it kind of makes it feel more better. But I don't mind that. Yeah, but speaking of Nintendo games that are coming soon, Luigi's Castle 2 remake, that seems quite interesting. That kind of ties into the Peach thing to some degree.
I mean, I'm not. I'll be the first to disappoint people and say I've never tried any of the Luigi's Mansions. No, that's wrong. I did play the first Luigi's Mansion for GameCube back in the day.
That is my favorite Nintendo Switch game, Luigi's Mansion 3.
Oh yeah, and it was good. It was, and once again, happy that people other than Mario are getting. Speaking of which, probably my favorite Mario spinoff in that is Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker, which I adore that.
That is pretty fun.
No, the Luigi's Mansion remake, yes. Well, remaster. It's more of a remaster than anything else. I am looking for. Actually, speaking of games we're looking forward to, there's one game that I'm looking forward to. It doesn't even have a name yet. It doesn't even really have a concept yet. Playdead, the company behind Limbo and Inside, phenomenal game. They're working on a third game. That's all I know. There's no. I think that I've only seen one screenshot. And it looks like a 3D platformer kind of deal. Maybe not a platformer, but a 3D world. And that's all. That's all that's been given. If someone else out there has information, let me know because Limbo and Inside were awesome. Because of that, Playdead has like one of the best track records of any developer I know.
Well, Limbo was pure 2D. Mm-hmm. Then Inside was like 2.5D. So the progression seems normal that they would go to a 3D game next.
And they knocked it out of the park with those two. So, like Rockstar,
Do you
gotta look at yourself.
Okay, Inside or Little Nightmares, which one's better?
Okay, Little Nightmares was good, but I'm gonna have to give it to Inside, mainly because of the ending.
Yeah,
I still think in my spectrum, I have to go to Limbo for this. There's two types of great video game endings. On one end of the spectrum is Limbo, and on the other end of the spectrum is Final Fantasy VI. Both are phenomenal endings, but completely different from each other. Have you ever beaten Final Fantasy VI or 3?
No, I've never played Final Fantasy.
Oh, it's like it's Super Nintendo graphics, but it's like 40 minutes of cutscenes, music, credits, grandeur. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna explain what happens at the end for anyone who hasn't played the game, but it's like this huge, epic, production just for the ending of the game, and it's great.
Yeah,
You've beaten, all right?
Yes.
You get to the end, black screen, credits roll. And that's it. That's enough game for you. I love it. So those are my two extremes. And if you get somewhere in the middle, then you get one of those endings that's kind of unremarkable, which I would say probably the most unremarkable ending I ever played in my life was the game Rage.
I never finished that.
Oh, you didn't miss much.
Okay.
You didn't. Great game. I love
that game. Yeah. I like that game. Yeah. And that's why I actually, that game made me disappointed about Mad Max because I loved Rage quite a lot. Or maybe I did finish it, but I can't remember the ending. Anyway.
That's worth it. I bought that game like 4 years ago, and I haven't even installed it yet.
What's that? Mad Max?
Yeah.
It's actually an okay game. It's very rage orientated. It's kind of, if you played Rage and you like Rage, you kind of like it. It's just one of those games that got the really dumb controller things going on where they move all the buttons so you don't know what button you're pressing when you're in you in a fight scene, and then you've got to press. It feels really clunky to play because of the buttons set up.
You know what game I'm really having trouble with buttons? I started collaborating with a YouTuber, and we started doing a Halo Reach playthrough. And oh my god, the Halo controls suck. Like, they're so off. Like, everything's different. Like, I don't know about you.
I
but
think Mad Max is worse than Halo. Halo's just got like one or two buttons that are mixed up, but this, yeah.
What kind of controller do you use? Do you use PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo? What would be your default controller?
I love PlayStation's my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about you, but for me, traditionally, if I got to reload my gun, I'm going to go for the square button.
Yeah.
That's you. Sometimes it's a triangle button, but most of the time it's the square button.
Triangle button should be swap guns.
Right. R1 should not be reload your weapon.
No.
Ever.
No.
But it is for Halo, which is right bumper, not R1.
Yeah.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg there. It's rough. Every time I go to play this game with this kid, I got to relearn how to play the game because I keep messing up.
And that's what I had with Mad Max. I had that same kind of feeling as every time I go away from the game for a week, I came back and I was just like, what the hell am I pressing? And it's got some really cool... What they tried to incorporate in the game and what makes it so hard to learn is that they tried to add like a fighting mechanic, almost similar to like a Tekken style fighting mechanic to the game when you're taking on battles. And so then they tried to incorporate like shooting, like the game's got shooting in it. So the shooting bit's not too terrible, but then when she stops shooting and people are close to you and you're trying to fight them, you're like, where are all these buttons? And then you're trying to reload a gun and you just quit because it was so hard. Sorry. I had to get that off my chest. I feel better.
I agree. It's like, that's just, I can kind of forgive Halo, I guess, because Reach is old now. Now it is. You know, let's be honest. Anything 360 and PS3 ever, we can now consider like back
retro.
in the day.
Retro.
Yeah, it is
retro.
My hip. But yeah, that's rough. I'm almost considering actually doing it with mouse and keyboard. Maybe that'd be better. It seems sacrilege.
Can you swap the controls over? Is there like a alternate control?
But honestly, I don't like doing that. It's a pride. I think I could, but I don't want to. It's different when I rebind my keyboard, you know, because there's just so many buttons. You gotta like kind of like get it going for yourself. And you know, I like my crouch button right there. I like my run button right there. And, you know, maybe I should do that with Halo. I guess I don't know. I just hope that because we're starting with Reach. I hope by the time we get to Halo 5, they've come to their senses. And okay, how it should be.
We'll copy Call of Duty and we'll go down to the normal. Yeah.
Last I checked, Destiny didn't have that same bullcrap control scheme, and it's by the same people.
Yeah, but Destiny released what?
Oh, years. Yeah. Like
not that.
Or so.
I'm surprised that Bungie hasn't made something new. Did they make a second Destiny, or are they just continuing to build Destiny?
Oh yeah, Destiny 2 is running.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's running.
Have you ever played Destiny? I've never been a Destiny. I've tried it once. Yeah.
Me and a couple friends, we actually it was fine. It was good, but I don't know, like
it's not addictive.
You need to give me something more than loot. You know? Like I don't care about loot. Like wow, my character can be orange now. You know? I mean, I want that's multiplayer to me should come from the teamwork, and you get that with Destiny. But when it's just like a checklist, like, okay, we're going this world, we're going to kill these people, that, I don't know, it kind of loses some of its organicness to it. And the only reward at that point that I would want would probably be, I don't know, give me more trophies or achievement points or something, you know, like that. Because, like, it's not tangible, but it's a hell of a lot more tangible than a new hat. for my super space soldier.
Well, unpopular opinion, and I'm just going to take us on a tangent as we always do.
Nice.
The Destiny name just it's like a bad stripper's name, and I can't get into the game just based on it. Like, have you got names that just turn you off a game just because it's like if it was like Kill and Murder or something like that, Call of Duty is a really cool name, like. But Destiny, like, I don't know if I'm going to the strip club or we're going on a journey into space.
There were a lot of Destinies in my high school. A lot of Destinies and a lot of Alexis's. A lot of time.
And did any of them end up at your local strip club? Like, any of them in BMX Triple X?
Late 90s, early 2000s was wild here, and it was my friend.
So I'm just saying, like, that Destiny has to be one of the worst names for a video game ever.
I thought of that, like good names, and Grand Theft Auto. I always loved the name for because when you go back, like it just lets you know crime is what you're doing.
Yeah,
Honestly, at this point, I don't think they really need to call the games Grand Theft Auto. I mean, yeah, you steal cars. What games do you not steal cars in? You still, if it's an open world game, chances are you're stealing someone's car.
Well, they don't even really. Do they even put Grand Theft Auto on it anymore? Or they just put GTA.
They say Grand Theft Auto.
Okay.
It will be called. It will be Grand Theft Auto 6.
Okay.
Officially.
But on the front of the cover, isn't it just GTA 6?
No.
Okay.
All the way up there, dude. I don't want to reach it. But no, it says Grand Theft Auto.
And Red Dead Redemption's another great name.
You're somewhat right. Grand Theft Auto 2 even though it's called Grand Theft Auto 2 on the
spine, it's Grand Theft Auto, but on the cover it
does say GTA 2.
Yeah. So I think I think that's what they'll do. Like, but yeah, Red Dead Redemption, great name. Like, these are games. Halo, even, I don't mind that. It's not a bad kind of name for a series. Like Destiny. How underwhelming.
One name I loved for a game was BioShock.
Oh yes.
That sounds cool.
Yes, yeah.
Even System Shock sounds cool. But BioShock sounded BioShock.
Yeah. And I would say, why wasn't Mega Man more popular? Because that is a cool name for a character.
Well,
compared to Mario.
And this always confused me. In Japan, they call Mega Man Rockman, and the reason because of that is because in storyline, Dr. Light, the man who made these robots, he had two robots that he made kind of as kids. One was Rock, who was kind of like his son, he's like Pinocchio, really, if you will. And then you had Roll, which was like the maid,
rock and roll. That's so rock and
Japanese,
roll. So rock and roll.
Homemaker kind of thing going on there. But then when the robot master started wreaking havoc, Dr. Light had to repurpose Rock into Rockman. Because now he's got the Buster and he's got to like shoot everybody. But I mean, you fight enemies, bad guys in Mega Man that are rocks, like Gutsman from Mega Man 1. He's made of it's a rock-based level. You got Stone Man, you got Concrete Man, Block Man. These are all actual things you fight in the Mega Man series. So calling him Rockman, I'm glad they changed that for the States. I don't know how it is over in
we only had Mega Man. That was it.
Yeah, so Mega Man sounds cooler than Rockman. That makes sense.
Anyway, games that we're waiting for to be coming out soon.
Mega Man 12.
That's definitely coming out soon. What's his Visions of Mana, which is like a sequel to like.
Oh, it's part of the Secrets of Mana series?
Yeah, I think it's part of
that.
Nah, me neither.
I always want to get into that. I always want to get into the Gaia games, but nah, I never really bit into them.
There's some game.
RPGs are tough, especially the traditional JRPGs. If it isn't Final Fantasy or Dragon Warrior, it's just rough for me.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But there's a kind of a bit of a lull there until we get to kind of later in the year when there's a few bigger games coming out. Obviously, all your Call of Duties and the whatnot.
Yeah, I
But
mean, and hey, that's fine. It's always nice to see Call of Duties potentially coming out with someone. I do want to hear more. Like I did hear. Speaking of Bioshock, I heard on the grapevine that 2K is developing a new. Even if it's not Bioshock, it's a new game by the Bioshock people. So I hope
I
that's
hope
decent.
so too. But I hope it's not. I hope it's like more to its like Bioshock prequel or something like that would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
they could just go left field and be like, "That's right, we're making System Shock 3." I'm sure that'd get a lot of people like ready. I mean, it gave me impetus to actually play
I just
System
want
Shock 1
Big
too.
Daddy come back. Can Big Daddy come back? That's all I want.
Big Daddies were cool. Oh,
Yeah.
I remember the first time I fought one of those things, man.
Oh, they scared
Oh
the
no, but I
shit
had
out
it
of
set
me.
up. I had a couple of turrets going. I had some mines. He was just doing his thing, and all of a sudden, I just gave him a couple rounds from the armor piercing bullets from the gun. Yeah, he got angry, but he went down.
Yeah, but I mean, they scared the Jesus out of me when I first saw one of them. But then they went to that air thing and that big bird thing, and it just really wasn't nearly as terrifying. Get back to
Yeah.
the Get back to the original roots of the game. I say.
One game I'm definitely more interested in learning about is the Wolverine game coming down the pike.
Is that still coming, or do they cancel that?
I don't think they've canceled it yet. In my mind, I'm thinking of the game X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
It was a movie tie-in game to the Wolverine Origins movie.
Yeah.
But because it was a video game, it was rated M. It was very, very violent. Like you cut people up with Wolverine's animanium claws. You never really see that in the movies, but he's like dismembering people, blood's going everywhere. And when your character takes damage, he actually gets really messed up, like pieces of skin, you see bone and stuff. But because it's Wolverine, if you just stay away from the damage for a while, you'll heal up instantly. It was a great, great underrated, very under the radar superhero game. So if a Wolverine game comes out and if it could just do like that, do to that what the new Spider-Man games to the old Spider-Man 2 video game for the PS2 GameCube era, I'm down.
Did you ever play Deadpool game?
No, I almost bought it a couple times because it'd be on sale, but can I be honest with you?
No.
I've never really been that impressed with breaking the fourth wall.
The fourth
It's cute.
wall.
It's cute a couple times. It is cute, but I consider it lazy. I consider it very lazy.
What is your
You know,
fourth wall?
it's an easy out. Like you don't have to do anything clever. All you have to do is just wink at the audience and have them do the legwork to get it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah,
You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it can work. And there are instances where breaking the fourth wall, Spaceballs was an awesome example of breaking the fourth wall. And I'm sure there's plenty of other examples, but like Deadpool and She-Hulk and all these people. I mean,
Well,
it just seems lazy.
Deadpool always interests me, and I never went back to play it, but it was one of the games back. So back in around the time that Deadpool came out in Australia, we had this thing come out where they actually started rating video games for the first time and putting like a age restriction on the games. And Deadpool was the first game in that new era of games that was banned in Australia because our rating system for video games only went to M, which is like 16. We didn't have an R rated system, which is like 18 plus games. So it was one of those games when I was a kid that I just wanted just because it was like so taboo, and I wanted to get that game. And I never bothered getting it since, but yeah, it was at the time. I remember going, "Oh, I just want to play Deadpool." Yeah,
No, the one thing I will give for Deadpool though, and this was I don't want to consider this a fourth wall break. Deadpool 2, the movie, they released a PG-13.
The Christmas version.
Yeah, well, it's funny too. Have you ever seen the movie The Princess Bride?
No.
Okay, so not to get too deep into it, but The Princess Bride is it is a story about like a knight, Indigo Montoya. I'm not gonna go into deep in the movie, but it's a grandfather telling his grandson a story.
Yeah.
And the grandson's in bed, and he's played by Fred Savage. He's just a little kid then. It was an 80s movie. And Peter Falk's the grandfather, and he's telling the story. For Deadpool 2, the remake, in order to cut all that stuff out, they frame it like Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, dressed up as Deadpool, is telling the story of Deadpool to Fred Savage, who's in bed. Who's in his 40s now. You know what I mean? So they're kind of making fun of that. And I thought it was very clever how they did that.
Is it fun? Is it better than the second one?
Well, I would rather watch the blood and guts and pee and poop and boobs and other parts.
All the bad bits.
For PG-13, at least they make the PG-13 version interesting to watch. Like you would want to watch it after watching the rated R version.
How did the story get in the same, start the same, and all that type of stuff?
Well, yeah, except the parts they can't show because of violence. It's just Deadpool. They cut away and be like, and then he shot everybody in the head. And Fred Savage is looking there all like confused, like, what the hell are you telling me?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
They did it very well. I was incredibly impressed with that. I was like, that's dedication. That I liked.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I haven't seen that. So anyway, back to games. I don't know if there's anything else. I'm just sort of talking about the games, kind of the big games that are kind of coming up soon. Those GTA.
There are a couple early access games that I can't wait for them to release the whole thing of. When I played of them, are good. There's one game right now I'm playing, Dino Trauma.
Yeah,
it's like a cross between Turok and Dino Crisis.
Oh, that would be your game all over.
Yeah, no, I'm liking it. It's actually the first ever, because I'm very apprehensive about early access games, especially paying for them. But it looked good. The reviews were good, and I tried it out. And I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty damn good. Can't wait for the actual game to be released. So far I like it. I don't know if that counts though as a upcoming release.
Oh yeah, it's out there.
Well, to put under the microscope, Light Haze World. I played the
don't put it
early
under
access of it, the demo, if you will, and I'm sure that'll be different from the final product. Looking forward to that.
Well, that was a prequel. So it's completely different.
I got all the coins.
One that I am looking forward to coming out, actually, now that I think about it, is Little Nightmares 3, which is apparently a co-op game, couch co-op.
Ooh.
That's an interesting twist. They needed to do something with that series, because if they just did the same thing again and again, it was going to get kind of a bit boring. So yeah, having a co-op one. And I haven't played it yet, but you know how Outlast, I always say it's the world's scariest game. Have you ever played the Trials one yet?
No, the only Outlast I ever did was the first one. Outlast was the first PlayStation 4 game I played through.
Yeah, I have not got past any of that because it's way too scary for me. But I would say that the Trials looks interesting because it's a co-op Outlast.
Oh.
And that's coming to PlayStation and that soon. So that must mean that it's out of early access on Steam, and it's coming across to PlayStation, Xbox, and all those kind of things. And PlayStation don't take games in early access. You may have noticed our favorite game. Some games that they do on Xbox, they'll have preview, which is Xbox's version of saying it's not finished yet.
Right.
I thought
if it breaks on you, it's
hey. I thought preview meant. I think that's the dumbest name ever to say that. Early access makes sense to me because I'm like, okay, I'm expecting it to break. Preview to me makes me think it's only a part of the game, not a full.
You might as well just say demo.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's not. It's the full game, but it might break on you. So they might just say the broken. They might just call them the bug version or
Grounded.
grounded.
Had a preview on Game Pass for a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't. I think think Honey I Shrunk the Kids meets Fallout.
My son played it for a bit. It's got a bit of crafting in it, so there's a lot of crafting in Grounded.
See, that's a game where crafting makes sense. You're tiny, you're in a yard. I think that's what they did in Honey I Shrunk the Kids. Don't they make some type of a leaf flying thing?
That's what it's basically a Honey I Shrunk the Kids, but you're not waiting for them to large you up again. You're actually. Yeah, well, this one he's got the big ants and all that, but you chop down pieces of grass and then they help you go in further and do stuff. So, are you guys looking forward to any games that are coming out shortly? Put that in the comments too. I forget to mention that stuff until we're like way late in the show, and no one watches the last 5 minutes, so that's okay.
Everyone sticks on, and we love you for that, everybody.
So yeah, what do we? I think that's about it. Oh! I wanted to change tack for a bit now. Last little segment here we got. Where do you think computers are going? And I'll ask you this let me just give you some background into this thing before, so not to just throw you to the wolves. Okay, so I bought a PC the other day, and it's literally the size of 2 mouses stuck together. That's like the size. It's so small. It's like 10 inches by 10. Oh no, 4 inches by 4 inches. Sorry, I got to work at it. That's how big the PC is, and it's got a Ryzen 7 GPU in it, a CPU in it. Sorry, and 16 gigabyte of RAM. It's like the tiniest PC ever, and I bought it with the idea of playing Light A's World on it. Because I'm doing a bit of traveling at the moment, doing a few gaming conventions, and I thought if I have something like this would be perfect to transport the game around with. You know what I mean? Anyway, I was thinking, is this something that's going to be part of our future, where we just have these really small devices that we can plug in everywhere? Like, they're super handy and easy to. I could easily just take this.
They're called smartphones.
No, well, this is a little bit bigger than that. Yeah.
No, I don't see it getting too small. People like Flash. Like, take my rig, for example. I mean, this could easily be smaller than it is right now, but it's got to have these 3, whatever you call it, lights, LED show. That even right now they're making all these like weird shapes and
RPG
stuff like that.
Yeah,
they're flashy. People like Flash.
I get that, but imagine back in the day how many more LAN parties we would have had if shit wasn't so heavy.
Oh, and back then, during the day of the CRT monitors.
Oh my God.
You one of those things fall on your foot?
That's why we're all so strong these days. Kids these days are not going to be strong at all because they don't have to.
Z has no upper body strength.
Yeah.
They're not lugging around these huge TVs from room to room because they're going to move stuff. I have one CRT TV left. It's in my basement. And if I ever want to play Duck Hunt, if I need to play Duck Hunt, because if I try to play Duck Hunt on this TV right now, it's not going to work because it's light gun related.
Yeah.
But man, those things are heavy. Say what you will about modernization and all that. I like being able to hold my 55-inch high-def TV if I need to, with one arm, use the other arm to open things, hold a drink. I don't know.
But but that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine if you had all these smaller PCs that are like smaller than your keyboard, and you just have to take a controller and this little PC around with you. I just think it's so brilliant. Like, we should be making everything smaller and smaller.
That's what the Google Stadia was.
Yeah, but that didn't really. This one that I got now has got like a 500 gig hard drive or something.
Do you think maybe that's the problem with the Stadia? It was too soon. Maybe it just wasn't there. They released the
Stadia was the good thing about it was it was probably a little bit too soon, but you were paying for a subscription, but then you had to still purchase the games. So they hadn't subscribed the game side of it. If they had said, hey, it's a $30 a month subscription, and that includes all your online cloud gaming plus access to all the games, you'd be like, oh yeah, I could do that. That's not too bad. But the Stadia, say you go and play Far Cry or whatever it is, you had to go and buy Far Cry, and then it would be in this cloud drive. So you were paying for that to be in this cloud drive. And then that was what your subscription was going towards. And people couldn't get their head around, well, I'm going to pay $70 for this game, and then I'm going to pay another $10 to keep it off my premises on this cloud drive. Or what am I paying this 10? I could just download it and buy it on Steam and download it, and then I don't have to worry about this cloud drive crap. That's where they failed. Sorry to get technical on everyone.
Oh no, hey, you know I love when you technology.
But yeah, this thing here that I've got would do like cloud gaming super easy. Like if I'm doing Xbox cloud gaming or something like that, it's basically similar specs to what you get in a Steam Deck, but it's a little portable computer. And I think, yeah, bring it on. Like that's pretty cool.
Well, even like take the Switch, for example. The Switch ain't that big. You know, I mean,
the Switch is people do not understand how bad the actual GPU, CPU, everything in them are like worse than PlayStation 3. That's how far back in time you have to go to get something compatible or comparable to the Switch. So
well, maybe it's not so much they don't understand. Maybe they just don't care.
Well, yeah, but what I'm trying to say is it's quite amazing the games that they get to run on the Switch, really, when you're considering it's PlayStation 3 technology that is running these games.
I'm still shocked. And it runs great. Doom Eternal runs awesome. But then I play games like Arkham Asylum, and I'm like, it seems a lot glitchier than the newer versions. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they have to take out all the ray tracing. They have to take out any shadows. They have to go and change all the materials and bake all the things in, blah, blah, blah. And then you end up with a game. But to put it in perspective, if you play Fortnite on your iPad, it will look better than if you play it on the Switch.
Oh, absolutely. Totally, yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Playing on your phone, it probably looks better than the Switch.
Yeah, that's right too. Like, well, because the processors on your like phone and that are way more advanced.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that's why I'm really excited when Nintendo upgrades. But I feel like, just to wrap all this up in what we're looking forward to, I'm excited and let's go. Yeah, we're going to get a new Nintendo kind of thing going on. But imagine if they just upgrade to something as big as the PlayStation 5 is now, when in 2 years the PlayStation 5 is going to upgrade again. So that Nintendo really has to come out with something that's going to be better than PlayStation 5 and Xbox is right now.
But they really don't, because they're not competing with that.
They're
not in the same lane.
No, they're not. But from a developer standpoint, if they want developers to make a game for Nintendo and the new PlayStation 6 comes out and the Xbox, whoever knows what that's going to be called, please SMS me or message me somewhere.
Like, okay, so I could see them maybe chasing away like the AAAs, like the developers, you know what I mean? Like people that develop and they got a big game plan, and then they're not going to want to work Switch. But at the same time, the smaller developers, especially if like they're a little off put by the big scary, architecture that the newer Microsoft and Sony consoles will give you, go for the Nintendo console. It's a little less powered, but you tell me, if it's less powered, is it easier to develop a game for it, or is it harder?
It's harder.
really.
Because you need to go then and go, well, all that stuff we just wanted to add into the game, what are we going to remove so that can run?
As a game developer, would you be confident in your ability to develop a Super Nintendo game?
Oh, I reckon that would be challenging. I don't know what even platform I'd have to. Yeah.
16, brother. That's it. That's all they're giving you.
Yeah. Yes, you could. But to make it run on the Super Nintendo is a whole different architecture that I'm not even closely familiar with. So
I'm curious. I mean, people make homebrews for Atari games to this day. So they're still.
The Game Boy scene is really picking back up. People are big on that one.
Going back, people, old fogies like me, and not to, once again, it feels like I do it every week on this podcast, and I'm really sorry to any of the viewers if I do this. I'm not shitting on your games. I'm really not. But, and you'll find out too, when you get a little older, you're trying to get that feeling in your head that you got when you were playing, PlayStation 1 for the first time. You saw those polygons come out that look like dog shit today. But it didn't look like that in 95.
Well, I don't think games... I haven't noticed the difference between games for the last 10 years. You could put a game on 10 years ago that was really good and get next to a game that's today's years old. And the difference is nowhere near as different if you went from 10 years ago to 10 years back from that. Then it just gets crazy different.
Right. It looks better. I remember this, Mike, the Sega Sage, we reference a lot on this show. He was chilling with me one day. I was playing Dead Space 2. And it was just something it was just something random he said, but he even said, he's like, games don't need to look better than this. You can tell what things are. Things look real. The lighting is good. The frame rate's good. The coloring's fine. You can make it look more realistic, sure. But if games just stuck to this look, it'd be fine. You could easily tell. You could make any environment out of these graphics.
Yeah.
It would look fine. And it's funny saying that, because then when you if you play Dead Space 2 today, which I've actually played Dead Space 2 in the last couple of years. Once again, it looks fine. And while the games today look way better than that, they don't look way better than that. They just look, sharper, cleaned up.
Yeah, it's those little things.
Right, definitely a bigger leap. I'd even say a bigger leap from Dead Space 2 to say, I don't know, Silent Hill 2. That's a leap. That's a damn leap. Some stuff in Silent Hill, very sparse looking, very terrible draw distance. Well, fog because it's Silent Hill, but still draw distance. Oh, speaking of games that are coming out, definitely interested in the Silent Hill 2 remake.
Did you play the Silent Hill thing that I played?
I watched the demo. I watched it. I haven't played it yet.
I didn't like it. I found it glitchy and terrible. Anyway, I don't think anyone should go and try it. I thought it was bad. But yeah, I thought it was because it was meant to be for the PlayStation. It was designed for the PlayStation, and it ran like garbage on the PlayStation. It was like the frame rate was running at 30 FPS or something. On a PlayStation 5 game that was designed for PlayStation 5.
Since we're going to be wrapping up soon, I just want to give a shout out. I forget his name, but remember how we talk about frame rates?
Yeah.
And how I mentioned how the brain can't handle 60 frames per second. Yeah, I got labeled a console gamer for that, so thanks.
I think that was slow-mo, it probably was.
Don't listen to guys. Don't listen to
I'm a console gamer too, so it is what it is.
Hey, I've only had my PC for about 2.5 years, and I never grew up with one, so I'm still a novice. I'm not even close to a journeyman when it comes to PC games, but by God, it's the last frontier, and I will discover it.
And on that bombshell, we'll just finish up the show, I reckon.
But no, just to finish it up, I'm definitely more excited for the games coming out now than I was maybe like a year ago. But also, they really haven't really announced too much. But I expect that to change as spring rolls on. I
think we'll do another one of these type of shows in about say 2 months time.
Yeah, we'll see where we're at.
Yeah, and then we'll reevaluate what we're excited about. We might
But
not
if I
be
had to choose
excited.
right now, number one game that I would play that isn't out yet, probably the unreleased, unnamed Play Dead game.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm probably going to be looking at the one that came out yesterday. Only because I've been so addicted to Resident Evils and all that. So
Let me know how it is. If you give it a pass.
well, I think I'm gonna wait till it goes down in price because those AAA bastards can wait till it's to get my money. They don't need it today.
I'm still waiting for Suicide Squad to hit $10.
It's only a matter of weeks away. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you guys next time. See yous.